with Tim Bradshaw. Tim, sir, how are you?
I'm very well, Nick. Thank you very much. Yeah, sort of battling through like everybody else, half a stone to lose and refocus on what's going on.
Absolutely right. The eternal January problems. Listen, let's get cracking. You describe yourself as someone who aspires to be a because I can attitude. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, how do you sum it up? So I think at the moment it's interesting, Nick, right? So if you turn the news on at the moment, there's a whole load of people from all, and this is not a political discussion, right? But everybody needs something. Everybody wants something to be given to them. Everybody wants a solution to be handed to them. Everybody wants the answer. And I understand that. But actually, we get far more done if we take matters into our own hands. And we have this expression of, be part of the solution. So in other words, be part of your own solution. So focus on what you can do rather than what you can't do. And it's amazing how much more traction you gain. And in fact, even if you're trying to negotiate with somebody, and there's a lot of negotiation going on at the moment without getting drawn into too big a political discussion, but actually, if you turn the telly on, all you see is people telling what they want out of it, rather than say, well, okay, what's the solution to this problem? And I guess, do we embody that? I'd like to think so. I mean, 4 Ukrainian aid missions. This time 6 weeks ago, I was 4 hours east of Kyiv, and then finally we're going to get to race the original race to Dakar in March this year. So there are times where I think to myself, why? But I think it's all of those things that come together. We talk, toolkit, not a process.
So listen, there's a couple of things I want to pick up there, but I think firstly, just because you mentioned a couple of things in terms of Ukraine, in terms of Dakar. What you've done so many incredible things. You always every time I speak, we chat. It's always other stuff you're doing. What are you most proud of, and what really stands out for you?
I think. It's going to sound really bad, but obviously kind of proving people wrong to some extent. I always laugh, and I always felt, working with you guys, Nick, we work with all these incredible people that have, astronauts or whatever they were, these amazing CVs, professors, and I've never done anything like that. And I'm pretty proud of my military CV, obviously with what I've done and active service. But I think I'm most proud of proving that with the right mindset and adapting the right toolkit, that you can actually get stuff done, and you can prove to other people that they can get stuff done as well. And I think that's real. You're going to trip over, you're going to fail, you have days when you massively doubt yourself, but it's how you choose to deal with that. I was talking to a company the other week about high performance teams, and I said to them, come on, and list some high performance teams, and of course inevitably what people focus on is the results. Inevitably people sort of fall into the trap of going, oh, these guys won the World Cup, or these guys won whatever it was, doesn't matter what the sport is. Whereas for me, the most high performance people and the most high performance teams are the ones that bounce, because when we're a length in front or a lap in front or whatever your sport, or 2 goals in front, whatever your sport is, it's pretty easy to stay in front actually. But it's when you bounce, it's when it's not going right. And certainly if you look at my old job as an intelligence officer, it almost never went right. So it was like, how do you find a way to come through that and to come out the other side of that? And I think, for me, that's where kind of high performance comes from, and that's what it's all about, is making that happen and finding tools to make that happen, accepting it's going to be difficult for sure, but actually how do you make that happen when kind of the wheels are coming off around you a bit?
So it ties really nicely for me into something you were saying before about negotiation, and the fact that actually kind of people currently think negotiation is about stating what you want. I suppose the question for me, and in terms of the society we now live in, is actually it's our default position, because we think we have to state where we want, so that actually we are in a good position in order to negotiate kind of where we're going.
It's funny, isn't it?
And how do you get away from that almost kind of mentality? Kind of that's the natural state of being.
So for me, so 2 things really. Firstly, focus on your performance, not your outcome. You can control the performance, you can't control the outcome. It's as simple as that. And I wonder how many people, it's a bit of fun, if people are listening to this right now, and you can do it either with your own team actually, or you can do it with some of your clients, can you write down a list of the motivations and beliefs of your clients? Can you write down what their purpose is? Can you write down what it is they're actually trying to achieve? And so many of us go into a negotiation and we focus short term on the number, the figure, the contract, the deal, without really trying to understand the motivations and beliefs of the person we're talking to. A real simple example, if you're talking to somebody in banking, what is it you're trying to sell? Well, I'm trying to sell money, a mortgage, a finance. Is it? Or actually, are you dealing with the expansion of somebody's business or the survival of their business? And actually, if you talk to those values and beliefs and motivations rather than the product, if that makes sense, then actually, so for me, if you and I were sitting down to negotiate, I want to know all about you, Nick. I want to know where you come from. I want to know what your beliefs and motivations are. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know why you went to business and where you want to be in 10 years' time. I want to get inside your head a little bit, because what I want to understand is, therefore, how can I help you achieve your aim? Because actually, if I can help you achieve your aim, then achieving my aim's actually pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. And certainly,
oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, when you sort of foreign agents and all that sort of stuff, my primary mission was, what does this person want? What's the altruistic values of this person? What is their best case scenario personally? Because if I can help try and achieve that, then actually whatever it is I need, whether that's intelligence, whether that's a business deal, whatever it might be, much easier to achieve in my view.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Did that come from your training in intelligence, or is it something that innately came to you from always, that actually when you're talking to people, you actually had an interest in what they wanted beyond you trying to get what you want, or is it something that came from your training in intelligence?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I mean, I was very fortunate when I went to school and stuff, and I've always been interested in people, and I've always found what makes people tick kind of really, really interesting, and how is it some people achieve stuff and other people don't achieve stuff when they have apparently the same backgrounds or skills. But certainly with the training we were given, you get a one-shot stop, and actually I always laugh to people, because we've just come out of this whole Zoom world, right? And, can you operate remotely? Yes, of course you can. But if you are operating remotely, when you get one chance face to face with somebody, you have to make that count, right? So don't then go looking for cheap shots. You should know all of the background by then. You should do that. So that one moment that you and I get to look you in the eye, I'm gonna make the most of. So I think I'm very fortunate. I've had an awful lot of training around the psychology, questioning techniques, talking to people, negotiation techniques. But all of that comes together. And fundamentally, you've got to be interested in your outcome, your purpose. So what is it we're trying to achieve, for sure? But more importantly, what is it you want and what is it you achieve? I always laugh, like doing our old job. Imagine now if I when we talk on stage, Nick, right, like we do, and people always want to talk about kind of cars and guns and mountains, and it's all cool, don't get me wrong. And we can definitely do that over a glass of wine in the bar later, right? But the real magic, the really clever bit, if you think about it, is influencing and persuading people, because actually that's what makes businesses tick, in my view. And I say to it, imagine if you could lead somebody or influence somebody. Not only do they not work for you, they work for your biggest competitor, and if they get caught working for you, then the consequences don't bear thinking about. And that's the clever bit about what we do. Even the Dakar Rally, random as it might seem, the clever bit is persuading people to come on that journey with you and influencing people to be a part of it. Kind of riding the bike and doing it is an aside. So
go on, let me ask you to put it in practice. The last thing, tell me why I should come be part of your journey on the Dakar Rally.
Because it's about understanding the bigger picture, isn't it? Right. So it's altruistic, right? By definition, you have a touch of altruism in you, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't run the business you run. Is that a fair comment or not?
I like to think so, yeah.
So what's the biggest buzz you've ever got out of what you do at the minute? Speaker's Corner, what's the biggest buzz? What is it that floats your boat about Speaker's Corner?
Ultimately, we get the privilege of putting people like yourself on stage, and then we get a call from the client afterwards saying how you've managed to change their mindset, change their thoughts, and taken them in directions they never realised they could go in.
So arguably it's about being part of an outcome, a change in the audience, right? But how often do you get to be part of that change, or do you get to see that as opposed to watching it from the outside?
Unfortunately, not as often as I'd like.
Right. So what you're doing in March, what I'm going to suggest is, why don't you come for 12 days, right? And come and watch how it happens from the inside out. So rather than sit in the bench seats on the outside, come and watch us make science STEM subjects interesting to young kids, right? Because arithmetic's boring until you realise that to cover 1,000 kilometres across a desert at 160 kilometres an hour on a compass heading, the arithmetic's fairly important. So actually, for you, it's an opportunity at a very real level to come and see how it actually works, rather than watch it from the bench seats. Come and be a part of it.
Listen, with those words, I think I'm going to have to go now to speak to my family to tell them that I'm off for 12 days with you.
It's by the way, it's also much warmer in Morocco at the moment.
Tim, always a pleasure. Lovely speaking, and catch up soon.
Thanks, Nick. Take care.
Cheers.